Hi, everybody. Good evening to all of you. Today, we are going to discuss an opinion question, which is related to the operation of foreign companies in a country's territory. So the question goes like this: countries should restrict foreign companies from opening offices and factories in order to protect local businesses. So this is the statement part which is to be highlighted. Do you agree or disagree? So countries should restrict foreign companies from opening offices and factories in order to protect local businesses. The question goes like this. The meaning of this question is, it is the duty of a responsible government to protect the local business. And in order to protect the local businesses, a country should limit the operations of foreign companies in its own territory. How far do you agree to this statement? And this is the question. So as the question is clear, we have to see the pattern of the presentation. Because this is an opinion question, we have to go with a clear opinion in the introduction. So we should go with the focus word in the statement part of the question. And this is the focus word. I am highlighting it in red. Countries should restrict foreign companies. And the question goes specifically to this particular word. So we need to focus on this particular word in the whole essay. Or if you are not focusing on this particular word, your task response may go wrong. So every question, I'm not telling every question, most of the question will be having a focus word or a phrase on which the question stands. The core of the question lies on that question. The essence of the question lies on that particular word or phrase. And if you are not focusing on that particular word or phrase, you are going to write the essay, but your task response won't be good enough. And this won't be helping you to score good enough in your examination. So I recommend you to find out the focus word as soon as you get the question. So you got the question, I got the focus word. So I'm going to focus on this particular word. I have placed it right in the middle of my introduction, and I have framed essay based on this particular word. Let us see how it is. Now, it is generally viewed. So you can see the opening phrase, it is generally viewed. So you can see this phrase, usually we use this phrase to open the essay. We use different types of opening phrases like nowadays, today, in the present scenario. All these things can be used to open the essay. So this is the appropriate phrase which I find suitable for the situation. And that's the reason why I have used this particular phrase in this particular essay. It is generally viewed that in order to defend the local businesses, it is the responsibility of the concerned government to restrict the operations of foreign companies in their territory. I agree to the statement to the great extent. I agree to this statement. I agree to the view. I agree to this opinion, whatever it is. That's good. We have made it as simple as we can, and we have made it brief, and we have attended the topic. We have attended the topic, as well as we have clearly stated our view. I agree to a great extent. So my statement, my agreement, my opinion is very clear. Now, this is what we have in the first paragraph. The prime reason, the reason for my agreement, continuing the cohesion and coherence, it goes like this. This introduction part, the last part of the introduction sentence is connected to the first part of the first paragraph. And this is what we call cohesion and coherence, the connection between the paragraphs and sentences. The prime reason why I tend to align to this view is because of the fact that an increasing number of local businesses are being suffocated by the activities of multinational companies. And this is the first sentence of the paragraph. And the rest of the paragraph, the rest of the sentences in the paragraph deals with the explanation of this particular sentence. To be precise, local business entities are economically weak, and most of these are independent firms which are unorganized. These features make them fail during instances when they have to compete with the international businesses. So we have the explanation here. The local business entities are weak, they are independent, they are unorganized, they cannot compete with international businesses, and often they fail when they try to compete with the international businesses. They cannot, they have lesser customers, they cannot reduce the price margin beyond the limit. But as far as we are dealing with multinational companies, international companies, they can reduce the price here and they can compensate the loss somewhere else. This is the situation what we can see in the first particular paragraph. Now it's connected to the second paragraph by having a critical look into the aforementioned situation. So it is connected to the previous paragraph. Again, we have to focus on the cohesion and coherence. We have focused on the task response, that is restriction, and that's highlighted in the essay as a whole. It should be there. So restriction is the task response word we have to find. Now, cohesion and coherence. Yes, it is connected to the previous sentence. Yes. Now, it is unwise for any responsible government to worsen the scenario by sanctioning offices and factories of such business tycoons in their land. It is not good. It's not an appreciable move to sanction new business, new international business, and to and offices, the functioning of offices and in their own territory. If this happens, it further strengthens their efforts to monopolize the trade and commerce inside the country. And this would result in the erosion of a country's valuable economic resources. Now that the resources, the economic power of the country will be totally taken by the foreign companies, because if the local businesses are flourishing, the country, the wealth of the country will remain in the country. But if you see that the foreign companies are flourishing inside your company, inside your country, the result will be you have to pay in dollars. The result will be the total economic loss. You have to face a lot of economic crisis there. The ultimate result is the country's economic collapse. You need to see a fall in your GDP initially, and you have the ultimate. Eventually, you can see the economy of the country in total danger, and this is what we can see in the second paragraph. Now, again, we can see the phrase, however. So what we are going to see is that these two paragraphs are together, and this is against, however, it is unwise. Again, we have the cohesion and coherence. It's unwise to ban the entry and operations of foreign companies in a country's territory, as it hinders its developmental pace. So what we have developmental pace, and when we stop the entry and operations of foreign companies in a country's territory, it will definitely have adverse effects in the progress of the country. Therefore, a controlled and balanced business atmosphere is expected from a responsible government. So a responsible government should balance the business inside its territory. And this is what we need. Now, we have 3 paragraphs, 2 paragraphs to agree, and 1 paragraph to disagree. Anyway, towards the last part of the disagreement paragraph, we have said the solution for this. Now, to conclude, considering the negative impacts on both local businesses. Yes, we have negative impacts on local businesses. And the governments, yes, we have negative impacts on the local businesses and the governments. The number of foreign companies which can operate in a country should be limited. You have to limit a controlled and balanced atmosphere. This, however, does not mean a complete restriction because of its counterproductiveness. If we are restricting it completely, then it won't be good enough for the country, because it adversely affects the developmental pace of the country. So everything is interconnected and all the matter is there in the conclusion. You can see paragraph number 1, paragraph number 2, paragraph number 3, and all these 3 paragraphs are summarized in the conclusion, and it is the complete answer of the question. And that is the end of the explanation here.